when you first, I know you've been in the game for a zillion years, but when you
Hey,
were,
hey, you're dating me. No.
not that you look at, no. So in the beginning though, you've got one little product, two products, three products. Great. You're testing this, testing that.
Sure.
Yes, you would have known about AliExpress. You might have done it differently and done 40 rather than 500.
Right.
Whether you test it with a ton of units or not, there still comes a point where you start with literally one product, and it's a trinket of some sort. No moving parts, no batteries. You still need to do PPC, the launch, the whole thing as if it's your main,
Yep.
bread and butter. So you do all that, but when is it the right time to? I have so many questions. To say start that second product. When do you let it go?
Okay, so I'll just give you a quick example of kind of how I would see that playing out, like how that can play out. So you're sourcing your first product, and it's this wonderful bottle of stevia, right? So you source a generic one though. Not to say that I would source that from China. That's probably not something you'd want to source from China. But anyway, I'm using that as an example. So you source that product and you get like I said, like 20 of them or maybe 50 or 100 depending on the price point. Probably like 100 is a good. I always like to do around 100 because that's enough to do a decent test, but not so much that it would put you in the poorhouse if it fails.
Yeah.
So so order like 100. Then you want the listing built, you want the PPC campaign, and then you want to do some type of launch. But what you need to realize is you don't need to spend much. I mean, to test it, you maybe need to spend maybe $100-$200 max on PPC, and then maybe like give away like or discount like 5 or 10 or a fairly small number. Why you're doing that is you want to rank, but you're not trying to get to page 1. You're not trying to do anything. You're just trying to see if that product's going to sell.
Yes.
If the conversion rate, if there's a demand for it, if people are responding to the way that you've listed, you've done your product listing. So in other words, you're just doing this little test now.
Okay.
Now, what you want to start looking at is every day. Is every day, do you start out selling 2, then are you selling 4, then are you selling 6, then are you selling 10? So once you start seeing that trajectory, you go, okay, this is probably a viable product because every day that it's selling, it's growing a little bit. Now, as that's going, that's when you want to start, really starting to look and when you start the test, you should already be starting to look for a supplier that can supply that product in high quantities. So as this is going, you've already got somebody, like as the stuff's being shipped to you from AliExpress, you've already got somebody dialed in after that to go and get that product in case it does take off because what you want to do is, now this won't work for heavy stuff. Now this sourcing will not work for like, if you're trying to sell like an office chair because you have to wait for, sea shipping. This will work for smaller products in the beginning because you're going to have to get by air to replenish that inventory quickly. Now, once you do that, once you prove that product, that's when you've got some data that shows you're selling 500 a month or whatever. That's when you start, you bring the air in to, even if you're breaking even, just to keep that listing continually growing. And then as that's growing, then that's when you start doing the shipping by sea, and where you start improving your margins. So you have to look at it as a long game, but that's kind of an example of how you would test using AliExpress. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, it does make sense. So as I've ordered my 50 or 100 units to test, watching my numbers all along, as well as at the same time having a cheaper supplier in China ready with a backup order.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Really, in the beginning, as a brand new seller in this domain, like we've done business and shipped containers of chemicals to Canada for years, but this is a whole new ball game, the whole Amazon thing. So, and they're tinier, and there's more logistic tiny things. When you ship a big container, it's almost easier.
Right.
In a lot of ways.
It's actually not at all. Air shipment is actually super easy because you're not dealing with duties. You're not dealing with, freight forwarders. You're not doing anything because, it depends how you set it up. But generally when you're shipping by air, all those duties and everything are included in the cost. And so, it's coming directly, either directly to you or it's going directly to Amazon. On your first order, like I said, I would not send it direct to Amazon because you want to actually get, touch and feel those products, make sure they're quality before you send them off to Amazon. But you definitely all this stuff sounds so scary, but just this is a cool way to not spend a ton of money and just figure out how the process works.
Yeah, I think because of our unique geographical situation, we'll have to.
So yeah.
I would pay for a sample to actually touch it myself. I don't mind paying extra for that to get it to where we are. But for the initial 50 to 100 units to test, I think I would send it to a prep station. I don't have a lot of other options.
Yeah, so. you could do that, and make sure that they make sure it's a prep station that's able to unwrap one of them, take photos for you, at least maybe touch the product. And the other option is to hire somebody, a freelancer in China, to actually get the samples sent to them. And then we have an employee in China, and it's very rare that we get samples anymore. She does the quality assurance for us. So we say, hey, we want a sample from this company, this company, this company. She gets it. She does a video for us, showing us the product, giving us her opinion on which one's the best quality, the best price, stuff like that. So that's another option too.
That would save a lot of time as well.
Yes, absolutely. And it's really good to have a Chinese speaker on your side when they're sourcing and doing things like that. So that's also something.
Yeah, I think that's actually a better plan than waiting for it to get all the way to the USA anyway. The time to wait for that. Yep. So a person like that, you guys are not that fired up about Upwork, but that's probably where I would have gone for a.
Well, actually, Upwork is where you want to go in this case, because that's where you're going to find people from China. The online jobs is Filipino based.
Okay.
So you might find some people in the Philippines who can help you find products, do sourcing, but they probably won't be too good for the
Which one did you say is better for the Philippine?
Online jobs. It's onlinejobs.ph.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, I'm familiar with that a little bit.
So Jeffrey.